celebrating with us the Be the Light Society Gala Diwali 2023. We, of course, are not only here to celebrate the beautiful Festival of Lights, but to also make a brighter future for those in our community and to raise funds to give them that brighter future. I'm Sonia Sunger. I'm your MC for the evening. Some of you who wake up early might recognize me. I anchor Global News Morning, and I've been doing that for quite some time, and I'm happy to say that Global BC is a proud sponsor of tonight's event. And before we begin, I would like to acknowledge that this event is being held on the unceded and traditional territories of the Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh nations. May we take a moment to recognize them. We are gathered here tonight for a dual purpose: to raise funds for scholarships that will empower our youth and to strengthen the bonds that tie us together as a community. This evening is not just about festivity, as fun as it is, but it is also about unity and compassion. Our program for the evening is filled with engaging speakers and heartwarming stories. In attendance among us all here today are scholarship recipients from last year who've already benefited from this community's generosity. So I would like the two recipients who are here to give us a bit of a wave, wherever you are. I met you earlier, over there. It was nice to chat with them a little bit and learn about what they are studying, and I think they both have very promising futures ahead. So thank you so much for being here tonight. And a big thank you to our sponsors, our volunteers, and all of you for being here tonight. Your presence and contributions will light the way for a brighter tomorrow for deserving young women in our community. In the spirit of Diwali, let's celebrate our unity and open our hearts to giving. Tonight is really all about light and love. So I invite you to take a moment to think of the ways. It's an important point, so I'm going to wait. To think about the ways that you can make a positive impact in the lives of those around you. For myself, that means always choosing kindness and doing my best to support the women in my life. This room is full of inspiring, accomplished, and strong women. Like, give yourselves a round of applause. Yeah, you deserve it. And I know for many of us it can be difficult to see the light when our world is filled with so much conflict and violence, especially right now. But it is crucial for us to focus on the light if we want to overcome the darkness. So let's focus on the bonds that bring us together, the things that we have in common, and that is what tonight is about. I hope that you all had a chance to connect together in the foyer, possibly with someone that you didn't know, someone that you met for the first time, and please continue to do that tonight. Introduce yourself, say hello, make connections. And speaking of the foyer, please give a round of applause to Upneat for her inspiring meditation, helping us to set the intention for the evening, and Dolik Nation Academy for that incredible entrance. You got us all ready to party. Well, we have a wonderful meal to enjoy tonight, prepared by Chef Damon Campbell and Kate Siegel, and I would like to welcome them to the stage to tell us a little bit about the wonderful meal we will be enjoying.
Good evening, everyone. Before we get started, I just wanted to say a few words in regards to the meal we're going to have tonight and the inspiration for the meal. First and foremost, for the dinner tonight, we always strive to make the food delicious. You will be the judge of that this evening, how delicious it is. In that deliciousness, of course, when we create the menu, we're always trying to create things that have a different range of textures, flavors, eye appeal, brightness. Some things are sweet, some things are rich, some things are tart. So we're always trying to play with that, as I think it makes it interesting for the diner. As well, we chose a multi-course menu this evening, a 4-course meal in an a la carte plated style. So we just find that way each dish has its own unique flavors, and we can display each dish in its own unique way. And finally, a lot of the flavors that you'll find on the menu tonight are near and dear to my heart, as I discovered lots of great cuisine when I worked for many years in Southeast Asia. So a lot of these flavors are special to me this evening, and I hope everyone enjoys them. I'm going to pass it to Kate. She can speak on the dessert.
Thank you. So wonderful to see you all here. For the dessert, we tried to take some really beautiful South Asian flavors and then put a Pacific Rim twist on them with some very Western techniques. So we took things like carrot halva and then put it into a tart. We did a mango mousse and pistachio ice cream. And then near and dear to my heart, we put some 24 karat gold on it because I really like shiny things.
All right, thank you both very much. And so I know we are all looking forward to that wonderful meal. Be the Light Society is a registered not-for-profit society which is dedicated to celebrating the community and inspiring South Asian women to educate, celebrate, and empower each other with our vibrant culture. The society, of course, is made up of board of directors, an advisory board, executive team, and a dedicated team of volunteers to make events like this one here tonight happen. Through the Society's fundraising efforts, the goal is to provide scholarships to female students to help them pursue their post-secondary endeavors. Societies like Be the Light are paving the way for women to receive support within their own community, regardless of their chosen path or profession. As a South Asian woman working in the media, I have dealt with my fair share of judgment and criticism, but I have also been supported in the most beautiful ways by strong female leaders in my industry. And really, that kindness and that support has helped me get to where I am today. I work in a very competitive industry. There are just a handful of jobs in the entire country. So things can get cutthroat, and they can get catty if you let them. But what I have learned is that there is enough space in this world for us all to have our own success, to make our own positive mark on the world. I tell myself this all the time: be yourself. There's only one you. And when you're being yourself, no one can replace you. We all have the power to choose to lift each other up instead of tear each other down. So let tonight be a reminder to choose love, to choose support and kindness for all of the women who are here tonight. When we work together to support our sisters, I believe and I know it benefits us all. The Society would also like to acknowledge our sponsors for their encouragement and belief in the mission for tonight to support South Asian women. A big thank you to our incredible host venue, of course, Fairmont Pacific Rim, and Marina Chandra for her time, dedication, and to our media sponsor, Global VC, and Anita Huberman from the Surrey Board of Trade. Thank you all. All right, a couple housekeeping items to get through. If you have purchased any drink tickets, you may hand these to the banquets team with your drink selection. Donation details and information can be found via the QR code located within each of your takeaway bags. Each of these takeaways are filled with meaningful elements, and during the volley, of course, giving is a gesture of goodwill. and it brings positivity. So may these beautiful items bring light into each of your homes and lives. Lastly, we encourage everyone to please exercise caution tonight. We want you to have fun, but please ensure that you get home safely. All right, we're ready for the big stuff now, the panel. So the festivities are really getting started here, and I would like to invite Dr. Smitha Desai Ranchod on stage to moderate the panel discussion with our sponsors. First, let me introduce Dr. Smitha Desai Ranchod. She is a family physician who has long supported her community through charitable ventures and personal time. Dr. Ranchod is an example of hard work and dedication. She has continued to balance her professional and personal lives with her community work. So let's all please give Dr. Smitha Ranchod a round of applause.
Thank you, Sonia, for that very kind introduction. Good evening and welcome, my fellow sisters, to Be the Light, a special fundraiser dedicated to empowering and educating young Asian women. Tonight, we gather with the shared purpose to illuminate the path of knowledge and opportunity for the next generation. This room is filled collectively with a breathtaking force unto itself. Not only is it humbling to be in the presence of a room full of dynamic women, and for the record, a few brave men, but a deep sense of pride that each person here believes they are the light to lead change. In a world where disparities and obstacles persist, it is crucial that we come together to uplift those who face unique challenges. Education has always been a beacon of hope, a transformative force that can break the chains of inequality and open doors to a brighter future. Tonight, we focus our efforts on empowering young Asian women, recognizing their incredible potential and providing them with the tools they need to succeed. Asian women have played an integral role in shaping our society, yet they continue to face barriers that hinder their progress. Stereotypes, cultural expectations, and limited access to resources have created a landscape where their voices are often silenced and their dreams are deferred. But tonight we stand united to change that narrative, to create a world where every young Asian woman can thrive and become a guiding light in her own right. We have just celebrated Navaratri, the celebration of the powerhouse of women. It celebrates the omnipresent cosmic energy depicted by a female goddess. This is the Devi energy within each and every one of us. My name is Smitha Desai Ranchod. Born to a family business in the land of sunny skies and blue seas of Durban, South Africa, my journey started as the eldest grandchild of the Desai family. My mother is a very good homemaker, and my dad was part of the Gandhi Desai business empire. My junior schooling was in a convent school called St. Anthony's, and then high school was in an all-girls institution, Durban Indian Girls High. It was strongly dominated by girls of the Muslim faith. All our education was segregated from white South Africans. At home, we practiced Hinduism. Thus began my early molding of an assimilation of three dominant religions. After high school, I embarked on a career in medicine. My school was for non-whites. We lived in a world of apartheid. Here, my horizon expanded with some of my dearest friends being Black South Africans. I graduated in 1985 and did a rotating internship until I met my husband, Dr. Hitesh Ranchod. It was a near-death experience in 1989, involving an incident of hooligans trying to abduct my car and molest me after I finished work. In a manner of speaking, this was a blessing as it paved the way to promptly leaving the country and coming to Newfoundland, Canada in May of 1990. Over 2 years in Newfoundland, it allowed me to grow and become my own person. Initially, afraid to touch a white person because I had never had, I soon was enveloped with the love of Newfies, and I got proudly screeching, "This means it's in a cod." 1993, we arrived in Fort McMurray, Alberta, another Newfie town. The weather of -50 was a bit much for me, and a year later we landed in beautiful British Columbia. Throughout my journey in Canada, I soon realized women issues were as poorly addressed in Africa. My mission began to address female health issues by setting up teen clinics both in Newfoundland and Fort McMurray, advocating for a voice for contraception and safe abortions. My belief is not to judge, but to protect the health of the vulnerable young woman. The discrepancies did not end there. I was hindered in my professional world as well, and so long the battle to change things. Small steps for a lifetime change for generations of women to come. There were many atrocities in my world, not only as a female physician, but as a brown female physician. Today I practice in Richmond, Vancouver General Hospital, and sit on Doctors of BC subcommittees. I work with amazing, strong women in my field and nurture fellow students, both male and female, to have a voice of equality. The person I am is deeply rooted in my upbringing. My dearest grandpa, Mr. Virchulandas Desai, a huge philanthropist who constantly urged me to study, for he said, "The hand that rocks the cradle rocks the world." The impact of the Be the Light fundraiser extends far beyond the individual beneficiaries. Empowering young Asian women through education has a ripple effect on their families, communities, and society. When these women are given opportunity to fulfill their potential, they become the agents of change, role models, and advocates for equality. They contribute to building stronger, more inclusive communities and inspire others to follow in their footsteps. Thank you for this opportunity to advocate for the change.
All right, so panelists, it's your turn now. I would like to ask Dr. Asma Sayed, Azra Ma, Harp Gosal, Harp Zoha, Nikki Sekar, and Bar Samota to the stage, please.
We now have the immense honor of introducing our powwow panel, our panelists. So our panelists tonight will address 3 questions, which are, number 1, with everyone's journey being unique, we would like you to briefly share a little bit about your personal journey and explain why you or your business see value in supporting a society like Be the Light and education of young women. The second question, please elaborate on how you envision supporting women, particularly South Asian women, within our community. Please also highlight your commitment to driving this. And number 3, last question. Lastly, we would like to know if there was ever a time when you didn't feel supported. If so, please share how you overcame or got through that challenging period. So to start off with, I'm going to introduce each panelist and they will take over. So when Charles Dickens cried in dismay, "Why can't the English speak English?" he would have been delighted and relieved to hear Dr. Asma Sayed, a master of the English language. It gives me great pleasure to introduce our first panelist, Dr. Asma Sayed. Dr. Sayed is a special advisor, strategic initiatives officer of the provost at Cortland Polytechnic University. She is Canada's research chair in South Asian literary and cultural studies in the Department of English at the Cortland Polytechnic University. Currently, she is also a special advisor, strategic initiatives focusing on South Asian partnerships in the Office of the Provost. Previously, she served as the Associate Vice President, Anti-Racism, leading KPU's newly established Office of Anti-Racism. As the chair of KPU's Task Force on Anti-Racism from July 2020 to October 2022, she led an institute-wide initiative to foster anti-racism. As the president of the Canadian Association of Postcolonial Studies from 2019 to 2022, she led multiple initiatives focused on EDI. Dr. Saeed has also served as an advisor on various boards and NGOs. She is the recipient of KPU's Justice, Equity, Diversity and Inclusion Award for 2023. Dr. Saeed.
I've just updated bio a little bit. There is a slight changes of yesterday. As of yesterday, I have taken on a new role as Vice President for Equity and Inclusive Communities at KPU. Thank you. And did you want us to start with the first question and move on, or like?
Well, we'll just leave it freestyle, whatever's comfortable for you.
Okay. Because being an educator, I always bring my notes with me, right? So that's how we roll. So I'll just begin with the first piece about our journey and to share a little about the personal journey and what values we are supporting in society. I was born and raised in India, in the Gujarat province, in a small city there, and I have lived in Canada for about 25 years. Almost unplanned visit, which eventually led to a decision to continue to stay here, considering the political turbulence in the province of Gujarat around the 2002, as some of you may know about this. Of course, at that point, choosing safety here, being quite unaware of the colonial history of this country as well, and how we might, unknowingly end up contributing to that history. And so I think over a period of this 25 years that I have lived here, one thing that I'm still learning is to acknowledge that history and to tread carefully on this land and to ensure that we respect, recognize, and work with our Indigenous sisters here, and be aware that our sisterhood is incomplete without the recognition of our Indigenous sisters as well. In terms of the personal journey, I'll say that I'm the first woman in my whole extended family to have received education beyond high school. My mother had high school education, and I, of course, went ahead with my PhD, which I completed at the University of Alberta. Most of the women in my family, my grandmothers, my great-grandmother, my mother, grew up in a Parda system. My mother also went to school in a burqa until she married my father, who is a liberal academic, human rights supporter, crusader, I would say, and a well-known author who, from the very beginning, was insistent on the most important piece was education. And I think I was fortunate enough to have that opportunity to get that education. And so in terms of what brings me here and why am I here, what am I doing, I think that it's very important for us to pave the path for other women. I mean, we have got here with much difficulty. This path has been difficult because most of you here know that when you are the first woman in South Asian community to come forward, what the barriers are, what the pressures are. The pressure to, for example, get married at the age of 16. It's very real. I mean, that's what I was dealing with as well. Many barriers in terms of education not being considered important enough for women. And of course, I'm talking 30 years back, more than 30 years back. Things have changed considerably now. But I think that for us, it is very important to recognize that we are the ones who are creating this path forward, and to continue to lift other women, to continue to support other women, to continue to extend what we have got and to share what we have got. I'll leave it at that because as an educator, if you don't stop me, I'll talk for 3 hours.
Thank you, Dr. Saeed. In the true spirit of Be the Light, Mankind Charitable Society is dedicated to building a better future for impoverished children by providing them with basic needs, healthcare, and education. To head this enormous role, we have Ms. Azra Maan, Director of Mankind Charitable Society. Azra studied criminology and worked for victim services with the Vancouver Police Department. She also worked in specialized homes for at-risk youths through different non-profit organizations. Throughout the years, she has helped support foster children, helped over 1,500 Syrian refugees escaping war, successfully organized a peaceful protest to keep the maternity ward open at Peasard Hospital, and is sponsoring an Afghani family that are fleeing the Taliban. She's a human rights activist that advocates for minorities. Over to you, Azra. Thank you.
So my name is Azra, and some of you may know me as a person with a passion for working with refugees. As a child of war, I understand the suffering and the devastating effects the war brings. My parents have taught us to never differentiate people based on religion and race. We are all one, they've always said. I was so fortunate to have married into a South Asian family that promotes gender equality and fights to protect the underprivileged children of our world. Being a mother to 2 South Asian daughters and a son is a privilege. We're raising them to be so proud of their heritage. We lead by example, and we teach them to speak for those who are silenced and advocate for the ones not visible. We teach them to always lead with compassion, have empathy, and to always lead with humanity. We have the power to make this world a better place, and it starts with all of us in this room, by educating ourselves, by speaking up, and by taking action. To all my South Asian sisters that have embraced me as their own, and to the ones that I have yet to meet, I vow to always stand by your side, to continue to advocate and be an ally. I will continue to support your business ventures and always lend a hand where one is needed. To the ladies of the Be the Light Society, thank you so much for bringing us here and showing us that together
we can make a real difference. Let's be the light that this world so desperately needs.
Thank you so much, Ezra. To the core of every woman, even to the likes of Cleopatra, beauty holds a dominant part of our one's self-esteem. Who better than to introduce the lead in beauty and wellness, Harp Sohal. The powerhouse behind Pink Orchid Studio, the largest South Asian makeup and hair empire in Canada. But it's not just beauty's brand. It's a movement that Harp pioneered, spreading studios across North America. Beyond the glitz and glam, she curates chic lifestyles through Harper Living, a blog channel, and a home decor haven. And did I mention she's a hockey supermom to her 2 adorable sons? Because ruling an empire and household chores is all a day's glam for her. Entrepreneur, mentor, and style curator, Harp wears these titles with grace. She not only builds beauty empires, but is a serial venture capitalist who uplifts others to do the same. Now let's talk Harp, the Facing the Mirror Foundation, Harp's brainchild. This isn't just a charity, it's a movement. Imagine a foundation that helps women rediscover their beauty, and Harp made it happen. Facing the Mirror is more than a reflection. It is a promise to uplift those struggling to see the beauty within themselves. Harp, over to you.
Thanks, Uday. And here's the first question. Ever since the inception of Pink Orchid Studio, I've always wanted to give back to my community. I've always wanted to give back to the people that have supported me for the last 15 years, and that is South Asian women. South Asian women are the backbone for my business, to my business. They're the ones that are purchasing my products. You're the ones that are taking my classes. You're the ones that are trusting me and my staff on the most important days of their lives. So when it comes to the values and the goals and the mission of the Be the Light Society, of course they align with mine. It's in my DNA. It is why I am a mentor. It is why I am a teacher. It is why I founded Facing the Mirror program, because I want to give back to my South Asian sisters who have faced adversity, who have had any challenges in their life. If I'm being honest, I've come from very humble beginnings. My father was a mill worker, my mother was a housekeeper, and I never set out to be an influencer. It's not what I inspired to be. It wasn't my goal. I've always wanted to be a woman of influence in my community, and so many of these women that I'm looking back at right now have inspired me, have led me, and are my mentors. Jackie Sahota, Karen DeSange, Indraji Rai, my mother. You all lead by examples, and you paved the way for women like me so I could pave the way for the next generation. And I can show the next generation, not only do you just have a seat at the table being a minority, you are dominating in a world that's ruled by men.
Thank you very much. Our next speaker embodies the skill set of managing finances like no other. Harp Gosal, CPIR. Harp Gosal is a seasoned investor, relations and communications professional with a remarkable track record in enhancing brand value and engaging diverse stakeholders. With expertise in brand identity and tailored messaging for government representatives, Indigenous communities, and investment professionals, Harp's career spans over 13 years and encompasses working for global brands, corporate finances, marketing, and advertising. Harp holds the CPIR designation from the Rotman School of Management, University of Toronto, and is an active member of the Canadian Investor Relations Institute. Over to you, Harp.
Thank you. Hi, everybody. My name is Harp. Focus. We did this and how things start together. Yo, we're amazing. I can only speak from my experience and where I've ended up. It has been because of strong South Asian women. I was very lucky. I grew up in a house where my Zasi, she ran the house. She was a feminist. She was an only child. And when she got married, she made my papa go to her village. And imagine that power back in life in 1940. And then I grew up with a mom who was even more powerful than that. She was a woman who was a chef, and she worked in the kitchen in a male-dominated field. And she made sure that my sister and I grew up with very powerful voices, but also lived in our authenticity. And that's what took my journey into a very male-dominated field. I work in the mining industry. I work for a uranium development company and sit on the investor relations side. But the best part about my work was I get to take the values that we have been taught for being South Asian and being Sikh to the work. I get to work with remote Indigenous communities. We started a mentorship program with Aston Martin, with the Canucks. We have our own Scopia. Pretty cool. We started a scholarship program for Indigenous youth that don't have the financial capabilities to go to university. Imagine that empowerment. We all grew up, we're lucky, our parents support us, they make sure that we get everything we want. And then I get to take that and make sure I get to advocate for people that, get the same opportunity, because why shouldn't we? Why should where you be born indicate or navigate your future? We should all be empowered at the same level of opportunity. And so being a part of this esteemed panel of very powerful women, you can see what value and beliefs any woman does. It creates powerhouses like this. So thank you for speaking here today.
A sharp mind, quick tongue, and a clever, well-executed assignment is the stuff that sets this lady apart. Nikki Sikon is the founder and principal lawyer of Milestone Real Estate Lawyers. Nikki was born and raised in Surrey, BC. She earned a Bachelor of Arts degree in Criminology from Simon Fraser University in 2008. Nikki lived in New York City and interned at NYPD Attorney Advocate's Office. She then attended law school at the Bond University, Queensland, Australia, from 2009 to 2011. Nikki was called to the BC Bar in 2013. In her solicitors practice, she focused on residential real estate, conveyance and mortgages, commercial real estate, commercial banking, and wills and estates. Her clients include individuals, small businesses, and closely held corporations, as well as lenders and most credit unions, banks, and mortgage investment corporations, and other lending institutions. Nikki's practice primarily consists of residential real estate, conveyance, mortgages, and wills and estates. Outside of work, Nikki enjoys traveling and spending time with her husband and 2 young children. Always do that.
Hi everyone. So I'll start with my journey, and my journey clearly from my history will be the background started with education. I'm a firm and strong believer of the empowerment of education, and that strictly came from the way our parents raised us. I come from a family of 3 sisters, so we're 4 daughters, and growing up, we really just grew up going to school, going to post-secondary, not really understanding why our parents focused on you need to get an education. It was drilled in my mind, so I went to school, and I think most of us can relate to that. We went to school not really understanding the purpose or our why. And so basically, according to my history, I went to law school, and I didn't choose law school because I had a passion for law. But when I lived in New York City, I had an inspector of the NYPD talk to me, just ask me, like, what do you want to do with your life? And he just told me, if you go to law school, it could open up the doors for any job. You could be the CEO of any company, you could walk into any place and apply and probably most likely get that job. So I went off to law school, and I then returned back home because I had to, not because I wanted to, I would have stayed in Australia. And I then got an articling position at a law firm in Langley. And at this firm, it was, a partner of, there's 3 partners. They were male lawyers who hired me. They were just opening up their own practice, so I started off at that firm with a law degree as the receptionist. I slowly moved my way by proving my worth as a legal assistant, got my articling, and eventually became an associate. Until I realized this, I'm not a litigator by any means, and I have close friends that are, and I appreciate what they do. It's not in me to do so. So I ended up going to different firms, and fast forward 5 years later, that same firm where I faced the most adversity I ever faced in my life by having 3 Caucasian male lawyers, just the way I was treated, it made me just kind of work harder. So I got an opportunity by a close friend and my current office manager thought of me 5 years later to give me a call to see if I wanted to come back and work for one of the lawyers. I came back and I started out part-time, and eventually one of the main lawyer who I worked for, he eventually became ill, offered me to purchase his firm, and so I did so. I purchased the firm, but the irony in that was the very first day that I became a business owner was super excited. Unfortunately, it was the exact same day that he passed away. So he was my mentor. He was one of those male Caucasian lawyers. I would never think he was actually the sweetest person ever. So he gave me an opportunity. He chose me out of a lineup of other male Caucasian lawyers, all because it stemmed from kindness. So this is where I relate with what Sonia mentioned, is kindness, hard work, education can put you in a position that you would no longer even dream that you could have done just based on that. And currently, my staff, we're all just women in that office, and it's fun.
Thank you very much. To tell the world a story and to work at various levels of authority is no easy task. Pradeep Sahota is a leading communications and public relations professional. She works in various sectors from government and non-profit to tourism and health. Pradeep has a reputation of providing sage advice to aspiring government leaders, entrepreneurs, and business owners. She's been instrumental in placing countless earned media stories in publications including the Globe and Mail, the National Post, and Refinery 29. OT.
Thank you so much. I want to start the evening by thanking everyone that's here today. Thank you for taking time out of your schedules and busy being coming here to support and assist other future leaders just like yourselves. A little bit about my background. I am from the island, originally from up north, from Kitimat. I moved to Victoria with my family for better opportunities from up north to be closer to universities. Growing up in Victoria and Sydney, I was one of the only, aside from my sister, we were the only 2 South Asian females or South Asians, women of color, anyone in our high school. So we overcame a lot of adversity, stereotypes. We owned a business in our small little town and watched and observed our hardworking parents overcome so much adversity, so much racism, and we really vowed to ourselves that we would make a better opportunity for ourselves and educate ourselves and get out of this box that society would place us in. And today I'm so happy to be here in this panel supporting this society because I know that education is so important to everyone, but it's one of those things that are just held within reach of a lot of South Asian women, and sometimes families or society don't push us to take that next step, enroll in that program, to further our education. And today, as sponsors, as attendees, we are all a part of such a big movement to educate our future leaders. We're all standing here, sitting here, I can see so many people. I've seen you on TV, I've seen you on social media, and I'm so proud that I am among the group of you. And now I think it's time for us to foster our future, to make sure that women who don't have the opportunity to go to school, that don't have the funding to enroll in a program, that they feel supported, that they feel encouraged, whether it's through financial assistance, whether it's through mentorship. For example, like Nikki is employing an all-female staff. That's amazing. These are opportunities that weren't available to myself as like a youth growing up. There were no scholarships recognizing South Asian women. We get kind of like pulled into this larger women that are of color or minority women, but this is so empowering to see so many powerhouses in one room that are cohesively working towards better mentorship opportunities and a better future for other South Asian women. So thank you so much for giving us this platform, and thank you so much for being a part of this movement and being a part of educating our future generation.
Thank you, Buddy. We now conclude our panel contributors. It is truly enriching and enjoyable to hear everyone's journey. Tonight, I hope each one of us can take a sliver from this rich experience to catapult us into striving to be the light and help light up many other pathways. On behalf of all of us, a heartfelt thank you to each and every one of you, everyone present in this room. Thank you. Thank you.